You can fake words, you can fake attraction, but you can't fake presence. Not in the moments when you're most vulnerable, most exposed. There's something that happens when a man truly loves you, something different about the way he touches, the way he stays, the way he looks at you like you're the only woman in the world. These aren't things you'll see in just any connection. These are the quiet signs of real love, the kind that shows up in the most intimate moments. And today, I'm going to walk you through the 5 things men only do in bed when their love is real. Let's talk about something most people never really explain when it comes to love and intimacy: presence. See, when a man is truly in love, something shifts in the way he approaches intimacy. It's not just about what happens physically, though that matters, but it's more about how he shows up in those moments. And one of the most powerful signs that his love is real is his emotional presence. Now let's be honest, in today's world, where so much of our lives are driven by performance, ego, and proving ourselves, it's really easy for intimacy to become another thing people feel like they have to get right. But when a man is truly connected to a woman, when he loves her, those concerns fade into the background. He's not thinking about some checklist or how good he looks doing what he's doing. He's not in his head trying to replay scenes from some movie. He's with her, fully with her. He's reading her energy. He's watching her eyes. He's feeling her breathing change. He's listening to the sounds she makes, not just as feedback, but as a kind of emotional conversation that tells him where she's at, moment by moment. You can feel the difference when a man is emotionally present. It's in the way he pauses when she pauses. It's in the way he slows down without being asked. It's in the way he senses when something feels good for her or when she needs something different. He's not doing that to impress her. He's not trying to earn praise or validation. He's doing it because he cares, because what she feels matters to him as much, if not more, than what he feels. That kind of presence you can't fake. It comes from a real emotional investment. And it's actually one of the most romantic things a man can offer in a moment of physical closeness. And here's what's wild. You'd think being present like that would come naturally to everyone, right? But it doesn't. Not because people are bad or selfish, but because it takes vulnerability to slow down and be in the moment. Think about it. Presence requires that a man let go of control, that he stops performing and starts feeling. And feeling can be scary, especially for someone who's used to hiding behind confidence, bravado, or even silence. But when he's in love, none of that matters anymore. He's not trying to protect himself from her. He's not afraid to let her see who he is, even in those quiet, intimate seconds when no one's saying a word. In fact, when a man loves a woman deeply, lovemaking becomes less of a goal and more of a journey. It's not something to complete. It's something to experience together. Every touch becomes a way of saying, I see you, I feel you, I'm here with you. And it's not loud, it's not flashy, but it's deeply powerful because that kind of connection leaves a mark. It builds trust, it creates safety. And more than anything, it makes a woman feel wanted, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually. And women know. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Women can tell the difference between someone who's just there physically and someone who's present emotionally. It's in the eyes. It's in the way he touches her face. It's in whether he rushes or slows down. It's in how he pays attention, not just to what turns her on, but what makes her feel safe, seen, and valued. That kind of man, he's rare, but when you find him, you'll never wonder how he feels about you. His love shows up in the quiet ways, in the stillness between movements, in the patience he brings to the moment, in the way he makes you feel like nothing else in the world matters except what the two of you are sharing right then and there. Now, maybe you've experienced that, or maybe you haven't yet, but you've wanted to. Either way, just know this: when a man loves for real, presence is never missing. He's not somewhere else in his mind. He's not distracted. He's not disconnected. He's there fully. And that presence, that's one of the deepest ways a man says, "I love you," without ever speaking a word. Let's dive into something that often goes unspoken, but says more about a man's love than just about anything else. How much he truly cares about her pleasure. Not just sex, not just the physical part of it, but how deeply invested he is in making sure she feels good, satisfied, valued, and safe during those intimate moments. Because let's be real, when a man's love is genuine, there's a complete shift in where his focus is. He's not just there for him. He's there for them, and most importantly, he's there for her. Now here's where a lot of people get it wrong. They assume that a man who's attentive in bed is just trying to be good at it, trying to win points or make sure she brags about him later. But when the love is real, it's not about performance. It's about connection. It's about showing her in every little way that her pleasure matters, that her body, her needs, her experience, they all matter a lot. It's not about doing things for validation. It's about doing things because her happiness genuinely makes him happy. Think about that for a second. When a man really loves a woman, her pleasure becomes personal to him. If she's not into it, if she's not feeling good, if something's off, he feels that. He notices it. He cares. He doesn't just keep going pretending not to see it. He pauses. He checks in. He wants to know what she likes, what she doesn't. He's curious. And not in a selfish way, but in a help me understand you better kind of way. That right there is a massive sign of real love. Because here's the truth. It takes patience to learn someone's body. It takes humility to admit you don't have all the answers. And it takes maturity to listen, really listen, when she opens up about what feels good or what doesn't. A man who's just chasing a moment isn't going to do that. But a man who's in love, he'll take his time. He'll ask questions. He'll notice the little reactions. He won't treat intimacy like a race. He'll treat it like a dance, where both people are moving in sync. And don't get it twisted. This doesn't mean he's trying to be some perfect lover or check off boxes on a list. No, it means he's tuned in. It means he's connected to her enough to want her to feel everything in the best way possible. Not because he has to, because he wants to. Because it brings him joy to see her light up, to hear her laugh, to feel her relax and let go. That's what love does. It puts someone else's joy right next to your own and makes them inseparable. And what's even more beautiful is that he doesn't make her feel pressure to perform either. He's not expecting some over-the-top reaction or a dramatic movie scene. He just wants her to feel good in a way that's real, in a way that's hers. He pays attention to the moments when she's quiet, when she breathes differently, when she grips his hand just a little tighter. He catches those subtle moments because he's present enough to notice, and he cares enough to adjust. And let's talk about vulnerability for a moment. A man in love doesn't just focus on the physical. He creates an environment where she feels emotionally safe enough to open up about what she wants. Because let's be honest, sometimes it's hard for women to express their needs, especially if they've ever been made to feel like their pleasure doesn't matter. But a man who loves her, he never makes her feel like she's too much or too complicated. He welcomes her truth, he invites it, and he treats it like a gift. This is where you start to see the deeper layer of intimacy, the kind that doesn't just feel good but feels right. Because when a woman knows her man cares that deeply about her experience, it changes the entire energy between them. It turns a moment into a memory. It turns sex into connection And more than anything, it makes her feel respected, cherished, and safe. And that's the kind of pleasure that stays with her long after the moment is over. Let's talk about something that happens way before the lights go out or the clothes come off. Something that most people overlook, but is actually one of the strongest signs that a man's love is real. When a man genuinely loves a woman, he doesn't rush straight into physical intimacy. He builds something first, something deeper, emotional intimacy. And if you've ever felt it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's a kind of energy between two people when emotional connection comes before anything physical. It's soft, it's magnetic, it's real. And a man who's truly in love will take his time to create that space. He doesn't just want her body, he wants her. Her thoughts, her feelings, her laughter, her fears. He wants to know what makes her smile, what stresses her out, what her childhood was like, what she dreams about. He wants to connect with her heart, not just touch her skin. And the interesting thing is, you can feel the difference. You can feel when a man is genuinely interested in who you are outside of the bedroom. You notice it in the way he talks to you throughout the day, the way he looks at you when you're not dressed up, not trying to impress anyone, just being yourself. You notice it when he listens and remembers the small things, like how you take your coffee, what kind of music makes you emotional, or that story you once told him about your first heartbreak. Those are the little things that emotional intimacy is made of. And a man in love, he gathers those moments like treasures. Before any physical touch even happens, he's laying a foundation. He's creating a space where she feels seen and heard. And not because he's trying to get somewhere, but because that connection matters to him. He's not impatient. He's not transactional. He's not just biding his time. He's present. He's engaged. He's letting her know that he values her for who she is, not just what she looks like or what she can offer physically. And then, when things do become physical, there's already this deep sense of trust, this unspoken understanding, because she knows, without a doubt, that he's there for the right reasons, that he's connected to her on a level that goes beyond surface attraction. And that trust, it changes everything. It makes intimacy feel less like something they're doing and more like something they're sharing. It turns the moment into something meaningful, because now it's backed by something solid, something emotional, not just physical. A man who's in love will often take the lead in creating that emotional closeness. He'll open up, he'll talk about his own feelings, his past, his fears, his hopes, and in doing that, he makes it okay for her to open up too. He doesn't just talk to her, he talks with her. He doesn't just ask how her day was, he asks how she felt during it. He's curious about her inner world, because that's the part of her he wants to explore the most. And the thing is, this kind of emotional build-up doesn't always happen in big dramatic gestures. Sometimes it's in the quiet moments, sitting next to each other after a long day, holding hands while watching a movie, laughing in the kitchen while making dinner. It's those everyday moments that build emotional trust. And from that trust, a stronger kind of intimacy is born. The kind that feels safe, warm, and real. A man who creates emotional connection first is sending a message without even saying it. I'm not just here for now, I'm here because I care. And you can feel that energy in every interaction. You don't feel rushed. You don't feel like you have to perform. You feel invited into something real, something meaningful, something that doesn't need to be earned. And when that emotional foundation is there, everything else, every touch, every kiss, feels deeper, more sincere, more connected. There's something really telling about what happens after lovemaking. Something that doesn't get talked about nearly enough, but says everything about how a man truly feels. See, when the physical part is over, when the rush fades, the lights dim, and things get quiet, that's when the truth shows up. Because in that space, when there's nothing left to prove and no more distractions, how he acts reveals everything. And if he loves you, he stays close. It's not just about cuddling, though that's part of it. It's about presence. It's about warmth. It's about what he does after he's gotten what, in the most basic sense, people might think he came for. If it was never about love, you'll feel that in the way he pulls away, in how fast he turns over, checks his phone, or drifts off, like the whole thing was just a means to an end. But when the love is real, the moment doesn't end when the intimacy ends. If anything, it deepens. A man who genuinely loves you doesn't just stay because it's routine. He stays because he wants to be there, with you, in that soft, vulnerable moment. His body might be still, but his energy is wide awake. He'll hold you without needing a reason. He'll touch your hair, trace your skin, kiss your forehead, and there's no performance left in him. It's just raw, honest affection. That's love showing up in the calm, in the quiet. That's love showing up after desire has already been met. And you know what else is different? The way he talks to you, the words he chooses. They're slower, softer, less filtered. Sometimes he won't even talk at all, but the silence feels comfortable, safe. He's not trying to fill the space because the space is the connection. It's not awkward. It's not cold. It's this unspoken understanding that he's still with you emotionally, even after everything physical has passed. He's not somewhere else in his head. He's not making mental checklists or getting ready to move on with his day. He's right there, soaking in the closeness, feeling the bond. You might notice the way he keeps his hand on yours, even after you both settle in, the way he adjusts the blanket so you don't get cold, the way he turns to face you, even if it's just to watch you breathe. He's not doing this for praise. He's not trying to be the perfect guy. He's just loving you in the simplest, quietest ways. And those moments, they mean more than anything said out loud. And then there's emotional aftercare, the kind of comfort that goes beyond the physical. If you're feeling emotional or a little raw afterward, he doesn't just brush past it. He notices. He asks if you're okay. He kisses your hand, touches your cheek, reassures you without needing big words. He lets you know just by being present that you're safe, that he respects you, values you, and still sees you exactly the same, if not more, after sharing something that intimate. That kind of care is rare, and it never comes from someone who only sees you as temporary. And the truth is, love doesn't rush to the next thing. It lingers. It sits in the moment. A man who loves you won't treat lovemaking like it's over just because the physical part is. To him, it's all part of one long, connected experience. The conversation before, the moment during, the way he holds you after, it's all one thing. It's all part of how he loves you. And the beautiful thing is, it doesn't fade over time, not when the love is real. Even after months, even after years, that post-intimacy care stays because it's not about novelty. It's not about impressing anyone. It's about showing up for someone he loves every single time, with tenderness, with intention, with heart. And that kind of love, that's the kind you feel even when no one's speaking. That's the kind that wraps around you long after the night ends. There's something powerful that happens when a man truly loves a woman, not just likes her, Not just desires her, but loves her in that real soul level kind of way. And you can feel it. In one of the most subtle but meaningful things he does during intimacy, he looks into her eyes. Not just a glance, not just a fleeting look in the heat of the moment, but a deep, intentional gaze that says everything without saying a single word. Now, this is something you can't fake, because eye contact in those moments, it's vulnerable, it's raw. It requires him to stop hiding, to stop pretending, to let her see all of him, and to see her fully in return. That kind of eye contact, the kind that lingers and holds, that doesn't dart away, it tells the truth. It shows that he's not just focused on the experience, but on the person he's sharing it with. Think about it. Anyone can be physically close, but not everyone is emotionally available enough to really look at the person they're with. And especially during intimacy, when defenses are down and emotions are heightened, looking into someone's eyes becomes almost sacred. It's like a silent confession, a way of saying, I'm here, I'm with you, and I'm not going anywhere. That's what love does. It doesn't avoid eye contact out of fear, it leans into it. And what's even more powerful is that he doesn't do it to make a moment more intense or dramatic. It's not a technique, it's not strategy, it's instinct. When a man loves a woman, he wants to see her face. He wants to feel connected in a way that goes beyond just touch. He wants to make sure she knows he's present, that this moment isn't just about physical closeness, it's about emotional closeness too. It's in those moments, when the world seems to fall away and it's just the two of them, that love speaks the loudest. Not through words, not through grand gestures, but through eyes locked together in silence. In that stillness, something beautiful happens. Barriers drop, guarded hearts soften, and suddenly they're not just two people sharing a physical experience, they're sharing a moment. A moment where they both feel seen, valued, understood. That's what eye contact does. It creates intimacy that can't be touched or explained. It's felt deeply. And the truth is, this kind of connection isn't about intensity, it's about intention. A man in love doesn't stare to overwhelm or control. He looks into her eyes to anchor her, to ground her, to make sure she knows that whatever they're experiencing, she's not alone in it. He's right there with her. Mind, heart, soul. He's not drifting somewhere else in his head. He's not distracted by thoughts or fantasies. He's present. And that look, that's how she knows. She can see the softness in his eyes, the care, the admiration, sometimes even the awe, because real love brings out a kind of tenderness that's impossible to hide. He looks at her like she's the only person in the world, like there's nowhere else he'd rather be. And in that moment, she feels safe. She feels beautiful. She feels chosen, not just for her body, but for who she is. And even if she looks away because it's too intense, or because she's not used to being seen like that, he doesn't take offense. He gently brings her back. He's patient with her vulnerability because he understands it. And that's what makes the difference. He's not using eye contact to claim her. He's using it to connect with her, to let her know that she's enough, just as she is. That she doesn't have to hide, that he wants all of her, not just the parts she's used to giving away. And maybe that's what makes love so quietly powerful. It's not always loud or obvious. Sometimes it's in something as simple and sacred as a look that says, you matter to me. I'm here. I'm yours. A look that stays with her long after the night is over, long after the room goes quiet, long after the world rushes back in. That kind of eye contact, that's not just a sign of love. It is love in its purest, most honest form. So when it comes down to it, love, real love, isn't loud or flashy. It shows up in the quiet, intimate moments, in the way he touches her with care, in how deeply he's invested in her pleasure, not just his own, in the emotional space he creates before they ever get physical, in the way he stays close afterward, not because he has to, but because he wants to, and in those moments when their eyes meet and no words are spoken, but everything is understood. These aren't just romantic gestures or good habits, they're the language of love. Genuine, grounded, unmistakable love. Because when a man's love is real, you don't have to guess. You feel it. In the way he makes you feel safe, seen, desired but never objectified, held but never controlled. So if you ever find yourself wondering whether it's love or just lust, don't look at what he says in the heat of the moment. Watch what he does when there's nothing left to gain. That's where the truth lives, in his consistency, in his tenderness, in his presence. Because the things men do during lovemaking when their love is genuine, they aren't random, they're intentional, they're felt, and they're always, always real.